everybody. Welcome to Trading the Close. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at Verified Investing, and we've got lots to discuss. We got Micron earnings in just a couple minutes that will be hitting the wires. We have Nvidia that was down earlier, still down on the day, but it's rallying back. Apple was up on the day and is now pulling back because, again, these two stocks, they just go inverse to each other. It's absolutely remarkable. I'm going to show you a chart on that in just a minute. Overall, we're seeing Bitcoin give up some of those gains and the bounce levels from yesterday, but still holding key support, and gold continues to break down. So again, the charts on gold told us this was the likely probable move, and it is happening. Let's take a look at the data here. So Dow Jones Industrial Average eking out about a $100 gain or 100-point gain. NASDAQ is up 55 on the day, and the S&P up about 13. So really kind of more of a muted day, but everything green, which is kind of a little bit of a strange situation. But again, that's the way we're seeing it. Oil today flat to negative, down 10 cents. Gold is down $20 on the day, just piercing $2,300 an ounce. And Bitcoin pulling back after that big bounce yesterday, down about $745. Notice the heat map right here. You can see Nvidia red and Apple green. A little Christmas tree action going on right here. And again, I'm going to show you a really cool chart how Nvidia was down sharply about 2 hours ago, and Apple was at the highs of the day, and as Nvidia rallied, they basically rotated. Now again, Nvidia is still down and Apple's still up, but they are off of those levels that where they were at. All right, overall heat map, a lot of red out there. So in all fairness, again, the general market, and if you look at the Russell 2000, it's not performing great. And this has been a theme for the last, really since the start of the year, that a majority of stocks are actually making new lows. Well, I shouldn't say majority, but stocks are leading new lows, are leading new all-time highs or new 52-week highs. That has been an advanced decline line that has now started to go lower, and that's not good for a market, especially for the internals of the market. All right, follow me over here, guys. We do have those earnings on Micron hopefully coming out in the next few minutes. Take a look at today's price action. Number one, volume was ridiculously light today. Why? Because everyone's waiting on Micron and everyone's waiting on the PCE data on Friday. Those are the two key data points. The earnings, which is going to affect the markets because it's going to affect the semiconductors and Nvidia. And then obviously we have the PCE data, the favored gauge of inflation from the Federal Reserve. So what we can see here again on an intraday basis, the markets opened a little bit on the lower side, a lot of sideways chop, a little bit of a lunchtime pop, more sideways chop, and then looks like some short covering maybe coming into into Micron earnings after the bell. Now, Micron earnings are no Nvidia. It's not the same size as Nvidia, but it's still a name that is a big player in the semis. And if they can come out with blockbuster numbers, then people are assuming that that's going to happen. Then you're seeing the short covering going on here, which is pushing the market up. Remember, folks, for those of you that are new to this show, short covering, to cover a short, you have to buy the stock back, so it's buying pressure. And again, I'm sure there's some people going long into these numbers as well. All right, we have about 1 minute to go. I just want to show you a couple charts. Number one, the dollar yen continues to surge, and this has been a focal point of what I've been talking to my members about here at Verified Investing and the Smart Money services, because this is such a big deal and the mainstream media largely ignores it. So again, we've taken out our previous high on dollar yen. This is where the Japanese central bank intervened, flushing it down, but they couldn't keep it down. Ultimately, they're going to have to re-intervene again. And this is a bad thing. The U.S. has warned them not to do this. They're going to have to do it. The question is, are they going to do it here, or are they going to wait for it to get to the high end of this channel? On a technical basis, if it gets up there, that would be where you would short this, because I bet the intervention comes right at that level. All right. Just going back to a couple other things today as we await those earnings in the after hours. Let's jump over to Bitcoin here. Bitcoin, again, folks, we are looking at a chart here. A lot of lines on my chart, but focus on just the basics. Yesterday or 2 days ago, we had the big flush. We hit two kind of key supports. We got a bounce yesterday, and now pulling back today. We're back under 61,000 on Bitcoin. I'm in a position where, again, I still think there could be some sideways chop here, maybe a small, additional move up. But at this stage of the game, I still think there's another drop to the 56,500 level. And if that fails, then we look at the 50,000 range. But 56.5 is actually going to be a key level. There's about 3 or 4 trend lines converging, which again gives us a lot of technical support right in that vicinity. Now, one thing just to mention is, notice how, and again, this is really important, yesterday, Nvidia was up, Bitcoin was up. The day before, Nvidia got crushed, Bitcoin got crushed. Today, Nvidia is down, Bitcoin is down. So again, I'm not saying it every day it follows Bitcoin, Nvidia follows, and vice versa. They track each other. But I do think it's worth noting that there's no doubt that there's some sort of coordination with risk on, risk off between that stock and Bitcoin. It does seem that there's an algorithm that's tied to it that might be trading it accordingly. All right, let's go here to Micron. Micron into the end of the day is pushing up. We are in the after hours now. It is upticking a little bit. No earnings yet that I'm aware of, but it is upticking. This is where we closed. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I think that's out. Micron getting slammed here. Whoa, look at that thing go. That was insanity, right? How fast was that? So this is not good, guys, for the semis. Not good for the stock market. Listen, it's still early. I've seen flushes and then it goes green again, so we have to watch and see what happens here. But that is quite something, folks. That is a big-time flush on Micron. Now, I want to show you something. So going into these earnings, I was talking to my members in the Apex Live day trading room and even Smart Money stocks and ETFs, and I said to them, number one, topping tail on the daily chart, right at a major trend. This is the Micron daily chart. And again, if we zoom out on this, we had this major trend line. You can see, even when I was on Schwab Network, I had to send over some charts and some annotations here. I was on Schwab, I think it was yesterday. I said, guys, I think Micron's going down on earnings. And again, I could have been wrong, but the chart is the chart. Probabilities are right here. And what we see is a major trend line right there and a weekly topping tail. And topping tails are very bearish. Let's go back to the intraday. And it's bounced a little bit, but man, oh man, that is still a hefty drop in the after hours. Let's look at what Nvidia is doing here in the after hours. Let me go to this chart here so we can see exactly what's going on. Yeah, a little bit of a drop on Nvidia. Big pop in the end of the day on Nvidia, though. Holy cow. That's a remarkable end-of-day move. It is coming down a little bit now, finally, but really, look at that end-of-day move right there on Nvidia, surging to the upside, although now it is coming back in on the Micron earnings. This could go much, much lower because of that late-day push. I think there were some buyers on Nvidia thinking Micron could be good, and now it's getting punished that it's not good. Yeah, there it goes, even more so. Now, will it go back to the lows of today? Probably not in the after hours unless Micron keeps going down, but certainly, wow, that's a nice little dip there in the after hours on the chart of Nvidia. But I wanted to show you guys one thing here. Let's go back to this other chart of Nvidia I had up. So I just want to show you this. So what one side of this chart is, right? This is Apple, intraday 10-minute, and this is Nvidia. And what I want to show you here is, look at how this pattern is basically the opposite of this pattern. And if you look at this, look at Apple right here, and I got to bring up my drawing tool again here. But basically, at the time that Apple was at the highs of the day right up here, Nvidia was right at the lows of the day right here. And then as Apple fell, you can see Nvidia caught that end of day bid. And I'm telling you, these are little nuances that no one's going to tell you about, but they're fascinating because what it tells us is that there's this inverse relationship with these two. Just like Bitcoin and Nvidia seem to move together, it seems like when Nvidia goes up, money is coming out of Apple and going into Nvidia, and vice versa. When Nvidia falls, money is rotating back into Apple. And there's this literal inverse tick for tick. And that's computer programs. Honestly, that's institutions set up. There's no mom and pops out there or John Smiths out there, right, that are saying, oh, look at this downtick on Nvidia. Let me buy Apple. Oh, wait, it's reversing. Let me switch it back. That's not happening, right? Let's be fair. So just some interesting little tidbits on this. Let's go back to Micron. Micron's still down pretty sizably in the after hours here, guys. So again, quite the little drop here on Micron. You guys can't see that. Let me erase that so we can bring it back up. But again, off of its lows, we'll see where it goes, but certainly not good for the semis tomorrow going into the open. And again, assuming this doesn't reverse, obviously. Couple other charts to go over. Let's take a look at silver today. Silver was down slightly on the day, continuing its march towards my key target right there. And then if we flip over to the gold chart, gold had a nice move down today, guys. Very solid move. Did break this bearish channel, and I've guided you guys every step of the way on gold here. Even when we popped up here, we said, listen, it's a neutral, it's not bullish, because you didn't confirm. Sure enough, reversal and now flush coming into support at 2280. That's going to be your first big test on gold. If that fails, 2200-ish approximately is your next target zone there. All right, oil today, not much movement there. Natural gas did fall today as well, but the big story here in the after hours is Micron earnings. I'm headed to Vegas tonight, in fact, but game plan tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time sharp. It's going to be real early there, but I'm going to be up and be rocking it from my hotel room. Going to be a little different than usual, but nonetheless, I'm going to make sure you get your information. And trading the close tomorrow after the bell, guys, or right at the bell, I will be doing that as well. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Thank you for your support here at Verified Investing, for bringing data to you guys, the truth, not narratives, not hype, all that nonsense out the window at Verified Investing. It's what are the charts telling us? That's what we tell you. Have a great one, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.